Francisco 49ers deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, D. Clark. Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going 99. Don't get it twisted, one and all with prime time. John Taylor, Jerry Rice down the side.
Welcome to the 49er Faithful UK show. And it's a goodbye to the Dallas Cowboys. The mighty 49ers found enough when they needed it to come away with a 19-12 victory and a trip to Philadelphia next weekend to face the Eagles for a shot at the Super Bowl. And dumping out the Cowboys on Victory Monday, take a moment and enjoy it. I'm Gareth Ellis, and I'm joined by Lee Gowland.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Paul Hope.
Hey guys, how about them Niners? Victory Monday, yes!
And joining us live from the Bay Area, this definitely warrants an ooh-ah. It is Nadgy Karar.
Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
Hey.
Hello.
Did you
you
enjoy
look
the
cold.
game, Nadgy?
It's actually it's not that warm. There's a bit of a wind. It's not the warmest. It's January, so it's all right. And I'm also tired, but hey, everyone.
Did you enjoy the game, Nadgy?
Yes, very much so. It was very stressful, and it was a long day, and it was tiring for the voice, a lot of work. But yeah, it was amazing to be there and see it all happen and beating the Cowboys and all that. I just want to say thank you to Nick and Abby and everybody that at the Niners organization for inviting us. I think everybody enjoyed it thoroughly. So yeah, not forget to say that to him. And Nick was amazing on the day as well. So yeah, it was amazing. How can he not be?
Got any favourite moments from the game? Jimmy Ward had a good game. Go down well.
Jimmy Ward did. Yeah, he did have a good game. That's true. Favorite moment, I think the block kick was pretty good because the whole stadium was kind of waiting for it, and the chance was pretty huge. And then the last 5 minutes, the stadium was so loud because we were trying to just end the game as fast as possible. And then the Mitchell run was electric. Should have stayed in bounds, but yeah, I mean the whole ending until we won because it got delayed, and then the Dalton Schultz pass got called back and all that kind of thing. It took a little bit more time than we wanted. But yeah, the whole, and then after that, absolute chaos for about 10 minutes, jumping up and down. So yeah, the whole day was amazing.
Paul, got anything for Nadgy?
My boy Jimmy Ward, he made sure he saved his best performance for you, Nadgy.
Yeah, he did. He did have a good game. Should have called that pick instead of leaving it to Fred, I guess, but we'll take it. And then the tackle at the end, I mean, he was going to get tackled anyway. I prefer much the pancake on Zeke. That was more fun to see. But yeah, I mean, our defense balled out. We knew that they might have to carry us one time, and I think that was the perfect time to do it. So yeah.
I think you're best placed, Nadgy, to probably answer this question. What was the feeling in the stadium as the Cowboys lined up for that very last play?
Oh, we kind of knew it was over. They had 60 yards to go or something like that. They were really far back, and as soon as they lined up in that weird formation, we knew it wasn't. They didn't have any juice. The whole second half was all on us, and I mean, you could tell they couldn't take it anymore, and that's why we started running on them a little bit more, and CMC and Mitchell got going. So I think the whole stadium, there was loads of Cowboys fans. They did make it loud for us sometimes, but they got very quiet, and we got louder and louder and louder. But yeah, I think we all knew it was in the bag at that point.
So what was the atmosphere like with the Cowboys fans after the game?
They were very quiet. I mean, the thing is here, and for the people that have never been to the US, I think most people are very respectful. There's no fights. There's nothing. There's a lot of light banter. With people waving goodbye at them and wishing them a good trip home and that kind of thing. But there was quite a fair few of them. I think being a playoff game, they rallied to try and make a presence, which they did. Kudos to them. But it's just light banter. Just people just waving and pointing like Trent did. that kind of stuff, which I think is amazing compared to other sports. But yeah, no, it was. I mean, I didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary. So yeah, I mean, it's the Cowboys though, so big grins on everybody except them.
So I think according to ticket sales, they had about 15,000 fans there.
Wow, yeah, that's quite a lot.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
They were loud, and I think they managed to get themselves all in one corner. It was coming down from us.
Right.
So when we were on offense, you could hear that corner of the stadium has got a little bit louder. But compared to 65 other thousand fans, or 55, I guess, they couldn't compete.
So I've got to say, you could actually hear them. You definitely could hear the Cowboys fans on the broadcast.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they were loud. Yeah. They did show up, which
Yeah.
well, we travel well, and I think they really made an effort and supported their team.
So how did it feel being in the gold mine with Wayne Breezy and Nicholas and all the rest of it? 'Cause
Yeah.
the footage looked awesome, buddy.
Yeah, the gold mine is really cool. I hope we get more opportunities to send you guys there. And it's like a little section of the stadium where it used to be standing, and they put this little stage thing and with seats on it. It's really cool because it's really diehard fans. We had guys from Tampa, we had people from Texas in the Cowboys play.
Oh, we seem to have lost Nadgy there. He's dropped out. So yeah, I mean, completely agree with Nadgy about the gold mine section. It is an absolute fantastic experience. You do get a mix of fan chapters in there. Nadgy's just rejoining, so I'll bring him onto the stream. Here we go. You're back on with us live, Nadgy.
This is what it feels like to be a reporter abroad. Terrible signal. Yeah, the gold mine is really cool. It's hard work. You don't stop. You have to be the one to start all the chants and everything, and there are who's has to come from you. But yeah, it's awesome because you got a good seat. It's a great view. You're not too far, not too close, and then having Nicholas and Wayne Breezy and Nick was there and Abby and other content creators as well. And this just because it's all diehard fun, it makes it a little bit more special. And yeah, it was really cool to be there.
Yeah, great experience. Absolutely fantastic experience. There will be more opportunities coming up next season.
Yeah, I'm sure.
A rather ambitious project that I'm working on. Which will see. I think the gold mine will be the loudest it's ever been if I can pull this off.
Nice. I can kind of tell what's coming.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys break down this game. I'm sure you guys are gonna do a good job, and I'll see you on Thursday. I'm flying tonight, so I'll see you soon.
Safe journey home, mate.
Yeah, safe
See you
journey.
soon.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good one.
You too, mate.
There we go. I think
Yes.
Nadgy's covered it. Anything else to say, really?
No, yeah, I mean, he's covered pretty well there. I mean, the gold mine section, it's where you get fan chapters who are going to make as much noise as humanly possible, which is why I think if we could get a decent amount of the UK fan base over there, you just saw from the Leeds meetup, I think we can be loud. I think we can be very, very loud. And I think it's possibly going to be an event that Levi Stadium and the 49er fans from the US are not used to, because we'll be making that much noise.
Fantastic. Looking forward to seeing more people in the gold mine, I think. Should we crack on with the game? Worth talking about. There's nothing quite like dumping out the Cowboys, is there?
No, there's not. Especially in those circumstances. I mean, last year, one of the overriding memories of the playoffs last year was that final play with Tony Romo. Tony Romo doing the commentary with the quarterback draw, and the time just ran out. And it was his commentary that kind of made it the whole shock and surprise in his voice. And then fast forward 1 year, and that final play. What on earth was that all about?
No idea.
I can't figure out what they're trying to do. I've watched plenty of content today online, and not a single person has been able to turn around and say, well, I think they're going to try this, or I think they're going to try that. Everybody's been the same. what on earth were they trying to do there? Because it just looked ridiculous. And it kind of finished with the way it should have finished, a player like that. And that was having one of their guys slapped into the turf by Jimmy Ward. Game clinching tackle. And I can see that because Nadgy's rang off now.
And Ezekiel Elliott being absolutely run over by Aziz Al-Shaair was fantastic. Paul, any ideas what they were doing on that play?
It reminded me of that trick play the Colts tried. I don't know if you remember where they tried to line everyone up on one side and the defense just looked where the ball was. And fundamentals, we talked about it on the show the other night, mistake-free football. Now, obviously, Talbot had his pace and he'd had a couple of kick returns. So if they'd started Talbot a bit further back, I could have understood him. Maybe he's getting the ball to then get to a point in lateral. But like you said, as soon as Zeke got planted on the floor, and our defense had balled out all night. Fred Warner, for me, Fred Warner just signified why he's the best in the NFL. And like you said, Lee, Jimmy Ward, it was a game-sealing tackle. Now, Nadgy doesn't give him much credit because Jimmy Ward listens, and he knew Nadgy was there. It would have been easy for Jimmy to take that interception. But what he did was he chested it to Fred Warner, who was Nadgy's original man crush, because he knew he was there. So it must have got him up off his feet. So I'm claiming that as a bold prediction, Gareth. But no, I mean, like you said, Lee, second season in a row, dumping the Cowboys out in the playoffs as 49ers fans. Doesn't get better than that, does it?
Did that interception play not remind you of another player in 49ers history?
Got one. I'm intrigued.
It seemed very similar to the pick at the stick.
With Bowman.
Yeah. The way the ball was bounced up. So I think it was Tremaine Brock who came in and bounced the ball up for Bowman to grab hold of and obviously run back for a pick six. And it just felt like that, the way it happened. Obviously, we didn't get a pick six out of it, but that's what it felt like.
Do you know what's even more satisfying as well? I mean, we talked about the rivalry being renewed in the run-up, gents. I had a few Cowboys fans pointing out, our Super Bowl drought is just as long as theirs. But we've got a chance to end ours this year. And the Cowboys, bye-bye, Jerry. Try again next year. And it was lovely to see, like Nadgy said, the banter of the fans leaving the stadium and, waving them bye. But I don't know about you chaps, but I actually wasn't worried watching that last night. And I know we're going to break it down. Me and Mr. Peplow were exchanging messages. I kept cool, Gareth. I don't know whether it was because I was exhausted after a weekend of football at my age, but I honestly had every confidence in this defense. And I quite smiled at the end because McCarthy showed what we said McCarthy was going to do, his in-game management, his clock management. And I know Shanahan had a bit of heat for his clock management, but towards the end of the game, wasn't in any doubt. I'm just a bit gutted that Mitchell didn't step out of bounds, but it set it up. So now we've got the Dak play. We've got the Zeke pancake. And for me, it's just been a brilliant victory Monday. What's your thoughts on that final play then, Gareth? What do you think they were trying to do? It was?
I have no idea whether it was going to be. I thought, it might be something like quarterback draw, and then he'll sort of lateral it to Zeke behind him or something like that. And then when they snapped the ball, I don't think the Cowboys really knew what they were trying to do either, because they just seemed to say, well, what next? And our defense just, as you said, planted a couple of players on the ground, and it's game over. I think the defense is where I was going to start, obviously. You've covered a few bits already, but basically contain the Cowboys and made some plays when it counted. That's my overall sort of feeling from a very solid performance. I've got a list of names. I mean, where do you want to start, Lee?
So I mean, the game kind of turned out completely the opposite of what pretty much all of us thought. Well, we all thought it was going to be a decent, high-scoring game, and it didn't. It turned into more of a game between the two defenses. And both defenses turned up, and both defenses played absolutely lights out. They played excellent. It was a really good game to watch from a defensive perspective. It reminded us of the Rams Patriots Super Bowl 4 or 5 years ago now. That was a low scoring game, but the quality of the defensive play was excellent, and that was the same last night. What caught us by surprise was the speed of the Dallas pass rush. I thought they were immense. I thought they brought the pressure really well. DeMarcus Lawrence, I think he's belying his age. Some of the rushes he had was excellent. I thought he was pretty much the standout for the Dallas Cowboys. I think we were all expecting that to be Micah Parsons, who did get pressures, but I think for me, the person that stood out most for the Dallas Cowboys was Lawrence. On the 49er side, Fred Warner. Every time Fred Warner makes a tackle, he's always there. He's just everywhere. And it's not just like tackling runners, but that pass break up with CD Lamb where he ran from the line of scrimmage and he stayed with him toe for toe. That was unbelievable. I did actually think we were going to get a flag there when he started to put his hand around him, and you could see the shoulder moving around. So he did have a hold him a little bit. So I think we were looking not to get a flag there, but one excellent play. Diomedolo, no. Wow, that interception. I nearly texted Connor Ryan to apologise for scaring him again, even though he was 25 miles further south than where I was, because the noise I made. And I had to be reminded by my wife that my younger son was in bed and he had to be early for an exam. So I had to keep the noise down a bit. But yeah, it was, for me, it was a great football game to watch. I like that type of football. I do. I like that type of football. How about yourself, Paul?
Well, we came into this very bullish, didn't we, chaps? And like you said, Lee, in a week where our offense, Gareth, scored its fewest points since week 12. But I'm glad you started on the defense. And it's why, being a 49ers fan, to everybody listening, it's why it's exciting. Because if the offense doesn't ball out, the defense balls out, and they've just got each other's back. I mean, again, we look, Dallas's defense did play well, as Lee said, but their 12 points that they scored was their third lowest output of the season. And they'd finished fourth overall this season in scoring. There was only 3 games where they finished with a lower yard per play average than they did Sunday. Like we said, Lee, the defensive performance on Sunday wouldn't have been possible without the man in the middle, Warner. And I know I gave it away at the start, Gareth, but I mean, looking at his stats, he led the way. 9 total tackles, a tackle for loss, a pass defended, and an interception. And according to PFF, which you either love or you hate, he surrendered just 2 receptions for 15 receiving yards on 5 targets in coverage. And the way he takes around, the way that middle, and like you said, Lee, CD Lamb had a decent game. You look at CD Lamb's stat sheet, and a few people in the chats that were worried, I was thinking, we always do this. We let their one receiver get the chunk play. But I honestly, I was sat at home, not nervous at all. I don't know whether it was because Jay Peplow was texting me. We all know how infectious Jay Peplow can be, and we were texting each other. It's like a superstitious thing now. We keep the faith. We text each other. And I didn't dip into the game day chats because I thought a few people may have got caught up on the emotional roller coaster and expected us to be like I thought, 30, 40 points up. But like you, Lee, I enjoyed that. It was a good game of football in the playoffs where 2 defenses have come together. And like you said, Lawrence, he was great as the pass rush. Micah Parsons didn't have that much of an impact because if you go and watch Brian Baldinger, he's broken down how Trent Williams dealt with him. And I don't know if you saw, there was a bit of afters with Debo on socials. So Debo's tagged Micah Parsons in some stuff. Again, if you're going to talk the talk, all those Cowboys fans chanting in the Buccaneers Stadium, we want them Niners. They may want to think different about that. So how do you feel, Gareth, about the defense and how we played on last night, Sunday night? I forgot where I was for a second there, boys.
Yeah, it's just a phenomenal performance, isn't it? They just seem to be able to disrupt an offense at any level, and you're taking away most of what your opponents are trying to do. I think the Cowboys just always seem to be in 3rd and long. They converted quite a few, and obviously they did make a few chunk plays, but we seem to just have this resilience on defense that we're going to cause you to fight for every single yard that you're going to get, and you're going to know about it, particularly I think into that 3rd and 4th quarter where our defense seems to be just as strong as it was at the 1st quarter, but the opponent's offense just isn't quite up to it, and we just seem to sort of strangle the life out of the Cowboys. And as you said, I think that's a very satisfying watch. Something else I very much enjoyed seeing was Hufanga deployed on the safety blitz. He missed Dak when Dak ducked underneath it. I thought he was going to absolutely nail him.
Yeah. That was one of the players that I had written down to mention. There was two of them. So there was two where Dak doesn't come across as the most agile, nimble of quarterbacks, but twice he managed to evade a sack by ducking and moving. The first one was Hufanga. The second one should have been a safety when Armstead could have had it right in that final drive. But yeah, it was good to see Hufanga doing that. They mentioned it on the commentary. He looked like Troy Polamalu. He reminds us of him every time he goes up to the line of scrimmage to blitz the quarterback. And yeah, it was good to see him doing that. And he should have had some success there.
On that play you talk about, Lee, when you sat at home, the way he didn't even sneak. He just went up to the line of scrimmage. He had to look across, and he thought, no one's picking me up here. And I think that he was that surprised. He got there that quickly. Like you said, Gareth, I thought he's going to nail him here. And I think he was shocked that nobody really tried to stop him. But I am kind of gutted that Nadgy dropped off, Lee, because I did have Jimmy Ward's stats to share. I might save that for Thursday when he's back on. Because
share away. Share away.
All
double
jokes
down
aside.
Yeah.
Well, he had 7 tackles on the night, a tackle for a loss, a pair of passes defended, and that play we alluded to with the interception. And we all joke and we all wind Nadgy up. We all know Nadgy would have been up off his feet, celebrating. He wants the Niners to win. And I just thought it was impressive that it happened when he was there. But I was glad to see Lee correct with the Lenore pick. My moment where I got into trouble was that Armstead. I thought it was a safety, Lee. I was up, jumping up and down in the front room, and I got a text off Tracy. Is this game nearly finished yet? I was like, yeah, it's nearly finished. Would have been better if there was a safety. I had to keep forgetting it was like 2:30 in the morning or whatever it was in the UK. But
it's easy to forget.
Yeah.
So
Defense,
I think I think my ball prediction was Fred Warner to get 3 interceptions. So he got 33% of the way there.
Yeah.
Well, our fact
checker,
Alex Simpson, released a couple of videos where he's given us some kudos for our ball predictions. So if you haven't, go check out 49FA for UK Twitter account because I retweeted them. So Alec definitely had a lot more time in his hands today, but it was nice to see, Lee, that I put together some of yours and some of mine. And we do go bold on this show. So when they come off, we'll take a 33% success rate.
So was it just ball predictions for last night's game or the season as a whole?
Oh, no, just last night. For the season for the whole, he'll be on for a couple of hours because those boys have nailed it. I mean, you were calling Brock Purdy. Gareth got the number of interceptions right. He's that video will be a long, long video when he puts that one together, Lee.
Yeah, I'm going to have to find that episode and get the soundbite. Not the soundbite when I said Brock Purdy will get MVP. The one where I actually say he'll throw the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. I need to find that soundbite.
Don't jinx it.
No. Yeah. Probably's already have.
Come back to it.
Mind you, then again, we all go into Leeds to watch it next Sunday, so that's probably jinxed it anyway.
No, surely not. There's no Leeds curse.
No, you're right. There's not. It's the box. The box is the curse.
Do you know what?
It's either the box or Jay Peplo.
No. Brock Purdy was not the quarterback.
Well, yeah, you make a good point.
You mentioned Yomador Lenore kept CD Lamb quiet for most of the game. One big reception and an awful lot of not much else. Yeah.
So, I mean, I said before in the preview show, I thought the way the Cowboys would attack us is through the air. They'd target Diamador Lenore because most teams have been targeting them. And I thought that was the only way they were going to win. I didn't particularly give them much credit for the ground game. However, when they came out, they were having some success. Up to the point where Pollard got injured. It was an unfortunate injury. There was no malice in that. But I thought they were doing okay on the ground up to that point. And then obviously that rely on Elliott. And when they did that, I think that's when they just started throwing it quite a lot more. There was only one way they were going to beat us, and that's the throat. It was that was the only way they were going to do it. And Dion Lenore stood up and was there to be counted. I thought he had a good game. In fact, I mean, I'm saying I thought he had a good game. I don't think there's anybody on our team who didn't have a good game. Everybody had an excellent game.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. Anything on the law, Paul? I've got another couple of things on the defense before we move over to the offense.
No, not on Lenore. I was just about to jump in on some of the defense, but I won't steal your thunder as horse because you may be going down the path I'm about to go on. So I'll let you go first, buddy.
Possibly. I was going to mention Dre Greenlaw, another good game, but another unnecessary sideline foul. We called out Jimmy for a stupid foul, so I think that's fair. But another impressive performance from him.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that foul was a soft foul. I don't think it was the same as the foul he did earlier on the season, where it was just blatantly obvious. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to finish the guy after he'd gone out of bounds. I think this one was a case of it was very close to not being out of bounds, and I thought it was very soft. But you're right. It's those type of players where it can come back to bite you, especially in the playoffs. You need to play a mistake-free football and clean football. So that could have been a game changer with those 15 yards. Luckily enough, it wasn't, and we got away with it. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right at calling out Greenlaw. We would do it with anybody else, but to be honest, I mean, in a game where we were excellent defensively, we didn't make any mistakes on offense. I think focusing on that one personal foul is I don't think it's worth focusing on.
No,
How about you, Paul?
No.
Well, I was going to mention the Dak Prescott isn't exactly a mobile quarterback, as you alluded to, Lee, but there was a few concerns in last night's game that at one point he was the leading rusher on both teams, including our side of the ball. And we all know what's coming in the NFC Championship game. So we'll allude to that on Thursday, a little teaser there. But that said, I think we did well against Pollard and Elliott when they were on the field together. I think the defensive line stood out against the run more than it did the pass. But I think that's the way the game went. I think they had to go through the air. And I think your defensive line, sometimes, Dak's quite good at getting the ball out quickly. That said, it was great to see Ibukam record the only sack of the game. And he had half of our 4 quarterback hits. But what I was impressed with was Nick Bosa kept going on Sunday night. So he wasn't going for the sacks. And there was a couple of plays when he was chasing people down and they were all crashing at that line of scrimmage. And I think you've set the tone. I mean, with the linebackers, going back to what you said, I agree with you, Lee. The Greenlaw one wasn't as bad, but in the playoffs, as you get into that, the championship game, the Super Bowls, fine margins, you can't be doing that. But yeah, I think Al-Shahir had a good game. I think him and Greenlaw combined for 13 total tackles. So I think we're envious that we've got the 3 of them. But no, overall, I was happy with our defense. We kept a high scoring Dallas offense to 12. And it's Victory Monday. It's always got a smile on our face, Gareth. We can break down the mobile quarterbacks and our struggles on another day, but not today.
So I'm not going to lie. As soon as the game was finished, the thing I was looking forward to most was the post by Stephen A. Smith, his annual post. And that was quickly followed up by Skip Bayless. So Skip, I think, I don't think he's quite Marmite. It's not a case of you love him or you hate him, because you realise that most of the time he's just taking the mickey. He says things for the reaction. I don't think he truly believes them, and he's got the comic value. I mean, he's good for it after the game. He made another video last night. He did the same thing last year. His pet lip came out quivering because his beloved Cowboys had been beaten again. And I think it's funny. You can't hate the guy when he's doing that. I mean, some of the things he comes out and says ridiculous. It's incendiary. The fact that he'd said, see you next week, Eagles. You're going to play us with our best quarterback. That kind of got the fan bases back up a little bit. But then when he follows through with something like that, you know, it's just a piece of fun. And I enjoyed seeing that. And surprisingly enough, I have a few friends who are Cowboy fans, and I haven't heard from them at all. To be fair, really? I hadn't heard from them in the run-up either. But I was kind of expecting some sort of communication to come through, but nothing at all.
before you move on, Gareth, I did that pod with the Cowboys fan on Thursday, and to be fair, I'm just looking up quickly on my phone now. He did send me a congratulations message, so I thought that was quite nice. And my friend Chris Pollard, the lad in Dalton, who was a Cowboys fan, when they lined up in that formation, he texted me, "Congratulations, buddy. Give him hell in the next game." And that came from a Cowboys fan. So to be fair, I haven't heard from him today, but we'd had some respectful banter during the game. When Pollard went off, he obviously sent me a text and said, "This is a game changer." Pollard, to our offence, is what CMC is to yours. Like I said, the news has come up today that I think he's broken some bones. He's looking a few months out. So
broken the tibia.
You don't want to see that. You don't want to see any
tibia.
injuries. But no, I have enjoyed seeing various footage on social media because I was off work today, Gareth, so I was able to tweet some stuff out. The amount of Cowboys fans I've seen smashing TVs and burning jerseys, and you wanted us, you got us, and that's how I did at the start. What was it? How about them Niners, baby?
So should we have a talk about the offense? Like the defense, I think generally a good performance. They pulled out the plays when they needed to, and they got enough done. Let's start with the O-line. Struggled to give Purdy enough time. I think Purdy looked hurried, but I've got to say I don't think he ever looked really panicked. But certainly, as you said earlier, the Dallas D-line gave our O-line a pretty good workout. Paul?
Yeah, I think Lee touched upon it. I think I was as surprised as the next man that they have got some excellent defensive linemen, but I don't think it was that bad when you go back and watch the game tape. I've watched it back today without the emotion. Like you said, Purdy is quick on his feet. He moves around the pocket. I'm not going to criticise the play too much because we've won the game. And when you look at Murphy's touchdown, my God, the lay they create. I think even Nadgy could have ran that one in. I think I was just waiting for him to give him the call down from the bench because he just runs in untouched. And the goal, from the goal line like that was amazing for me. Trent Williams and Aaron Banks, for me, stood out. Trent Williams handled Parsons quite well. I think Brock was quite sensible with some of his throwaways. He took a sack a couple of times. And honestly, I was sat at home, Gareth. I wasn't overly worried. I just think it was a good game against two good teams battling it out. And we just had enough to win. This is where Lee comes in and totally shoots down everything I've said.
No, completely agree with everything you said there, Paul. I'm going to use an example of what was going on in the game day thread. So during the first half of the game day thread, there was a few people turned around and said the O-line's playing rubbish. The O-line aren't doing this. The O-line aren't doing that. They're not creating the gaps for the running backs to run through. I think what people need to remember is we've just played the second best defense in the NFL. We number one. They were number two. Next week, we play the third best defense in the NFL in the Eagles, but they've got the biggest sack rate. So it's going to be another tough game in a sort of different type of way because they're not that good against the run. They do give up a lot against the run. I think they're ranked 24th against the run, but they do have the highest sack rate. So it's going to be another tough game. It's going to be a game where potentially we get to the end of the first half. And we do have the usual suspects within the game day thread who tend to be quite negative all the time, asking why the offense aren't firing. The offense are firing, but they're firing against one of the best defenses in the NFL. Give them a chance to go. You're not going to see the type of offense that we've seen in previous weeks in the regular season because we're going up against better teams. Just be patient. Kyle knows exactly what he's going to do. He did it to a T. Chris Sims stole my thunder before I came on tonight because I had this whole thing lined up about we kept at it. We kept on using the run, wearing them down. Eventually, midway through the third quarter, it kind of worked and we started getting bigger and bigger gains. And that's what Kyle does. And it worked. To the Cowboys' credit, they try to do the same thing to us. And if it wasn't for the fact that Pollard got injured, they may have succeeded. Like you said, it's fine margins in the game. Offensively, I thought we were great. I thought we did what we needed to do. Nobody really concerned us. Brock Purdy never, ever looked worried. He never looked like a rookie. a couple of times he would scramble out, and I think it's because we're not used to him yet. A couple of times he would scramble out, and he did have us worried. I was wondering where the ball was going to go, what was going to happen. He's going to throw an interception here. He's going to fumble it. Are the Cowboys going to get at him? And I think that just takes a little bit of time to get the confidence in the quarterback. And it's funny saying that because, I mean, this is 8 games now. And he's doing the same thing week in, week out. But I think the concern is gradually getting less and less, which is unbelievable considering we're playing better and better teams. And he's now the one of 3 rookies to have won 2 playoff games.
What did you make
impressive.
Of the offensive line, Gareth? Because, like I said, he only got sacked twice, and it wasn't as if like the offensive line was absolutely terrible. I think you want to credit where credit's due, but what did you think of the way they played?
There was a reason I started with it, because I think it was something I picked up on in the first half, that we did seem to be struggling to keep the pressure off Purdy. Did seem to be struggling not to open up the running lanes. But I think, as Lee said, we've seen this before, and we've seen how Shanahan adjusts, and how, particularly in the early games, Shanahan's, I'm going to hit you here and here and here and here, and I'm going to keep hitting you in different places until I see where you're soft. And I think what perhaps changed my opinion of the O-line performance in the second half was the fact that we were able to sustain 2 very long drives, long in terms of time. I think we had a 6-minute drive and a 7-minute drive late in the game. And you don't do that without your offensive line winning that battle. And I think the adjustments that were made went a long way to nullifying, I think, some of the success Dallas was getting in the first half. And we were able to just pound the ball a bit more in the second half. And maybe Purdy was a little bit more settled, perhaps, as you might expect as well. But I wanted to start with it first, because it is one of those things where you can get quite wrapped up in what you're seeing early, and then you've got to see that there's a game plan. And what you do in the first half is you're setting out your offense, and you're probing the defense to see where you can get some success. And I think we've seen Shanahan just do it over and over, that come that second half adjustment, he's learned everything he needs to know about the defense, and now he can draw up the schemes that are really going to attack. So, Purdy, Paul, you want to kick us off on his evaluation?
Again, some people are going to be sat here because he didn't throw for 5 touchdowns. He didn't run a rushing touchdown in. This could be a game that we look back on, and he faced another bit of adversity. We get thrown at us. Who have you faced? As Lee's pointed out, the Dallas Cowboys are a great defense. And we're sitting here tonight, and I can't think of any mistakes he made. I have a few friends who are non-Niners fans, and I got the text, "Oh, you're lucky. He's got a guardian angel on his shoulder." But you could pick any quarterback. We've said that. You could pick Patrick Mahomes. You could analyze a game tape and see, that's a bit risky. You always try to thread that one in there. Like Lee, there was a couple of moments where he escaped out the pocket. He was running around, and then you thought, oh, man, they're going to get him in a minute, and then the ball went away. But where it mattered, it counted. Like you said, now, we're running out of things to say. The driver of the Brock Express isn't here. He obviously jumped on before. I'm sure Nadgy will have enjoyed that. But the biggest throw of the night went to our boy George. Club 85. He juggled it for extra effect because Nadgy was in the stands. Nadgy had been telling him to get his hands together, But like George said afterwards, I did it because the TV cameras were on. And once that play hit, I think Brock's confidence went up. And some of his short yardage balls in those run up for me were pretty good. And even so, I've had a few people say, "Oh, Jimmy's coming back." And I'm like, don't listen to that. Brock is the man. And I'm kind of glad we're going into Philadelphia, because this time last week, Lee Gowland christened our boy Brocky. He played that theme music, and I cannot get that out of my head. So what did you make of Brocky, Lee?
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. Every week I see him play, it's just getting a lot better. Confidence is rising, and it's getting to the point where I'm now actually thinking 2 seasons down the road, once he's getting that second season regression out of the way, and then he picks up again. I mean, not all quarterbacks do that. And I think depending on what sort of scheme you're in, what sort of roster you have around you, you might not actually show any regression. But yeah, I'm starting to think what he's going to be like once he has plenty of experience in the NFL, once the game slows down for him, once he can start getting that chemistry going with the receivers, which he does have with a few of them. I'm just so excited for the future of the franchise. I think we've struck gold there. How about yourself, Gareth? Impressed with Purdy?
The stats aren't going to back it up, but I think this is probably one of Purdy's better games that he's played. There's the quality of the defense we're playing. There's the stakes and the prime time and everything that comes with that, with the building pressure. And he takes a little bit of a while to adjust, but I think a lot of quarterbacks do. I think he had a better game than Dak. I do think Dak is somewhat overrated, and people are trying to push him into this elite quarterback class. And he's good, but I don't think he's there. One thing that I noticed, particularly in the Cowboys game, was those short zip passes over the middle. The ones where Jimmy used to do that really well. It was one of the best parts of Jimmy's game. That kind of the ball is snapped and 1-2 zip, it's out, and you get 5 yards, 6 yards over the middle. Just a short, quick pass. He's nailing those, and that was the best part of Jimmy's game. And he's matched him in that short pass accuracy and just zipping the ball into McCaffrey and these other places where you think he's got no right making the catch there. And he's just so good at picking these small gaps because his accuracy is there. That short distance accuracy and timing is fully developed, not struggling to get through it. He does it time and time again. And that's it. Every time I watch him, there's something else that impresses me about what he's doing. And you just have to remember it's his eighth start, but he's practically a veteran now.
So there was a couple of moments where I don't know why it's impressed us, but it did, where he was getting pressured by the Dallas defense, and he's either getting away from it or he's actually released the ball and we've made a catch. And there's twice I saw him turn around and just smile at the Dallas defense, which I thought it speaks volumes. He's obviously not worried in the slightest about the pressure, and he was enjoying himself. Where you kind of expect a rookie to look worried, look concerned, or even look, well, I was lucky to get out of that. But no, there was these 2 points where he just turned around, he smiled at them and give them a little bit of a nod, and I thought that was excellent.
He's playing like a veteran.
He is.
That's the four solid years at college.
Exactly.
Is worth it.
And gone up against the best defense in the league for however many weeks before he came. And Fred Warner said that they didn't take it easy on him. And I think Shanahan's alluded to the fact that he's coachable, gents. That's not a knock on anybody else. Neil Watson, I'm not having a go at your boy. But he came in with no pressure. He beat out Sudfield in training camp. A few people were surprised at the time because, we'd given Sudfield that guaranteed money. He's waited for his chance. And again, non-49er fans, just lucky. He's going to get found out. And you think, you've been saying that now for 7 weeks. So I have no doubt that when it eventually happens next year, when number 6 is in the cabinet, they'll come after us. But for now, I'm just cashing those receipts in, Gareth, because when people say, who have you faced? We faced quite a good team in the playoffs. We march on to the NFC Championship game yet again.
Again.
Hopefully it's going to become an annual tradition. 2 years in a row now. So I thought Mitchell came on and played well. I think there were some hard yards for McCaffrey and Debo. But again, we seem to always be able to do just about enough, even if it's not pretty sometimes. It reminds me of a few 2019 games where we were kind of grinding the ball along and knew eventually if we just kept pushing hard enough, we were going to find a way through.
Go on then, Paul.
All I was going to say, remember back to the Mexico game when Brandon Ayuk scored 2 touchdowns but didn't have many targets. CMC had his least productive game as a Niner on the stat sheet, but he scored that touchdown. We've won the game. And like you said, Gareth, I like how when we needed those hard yards, Mitchell went in there. We were very bullish ahead of this game because, we thought we were going to run all over them. And credit where credit's due. Dallas have watched the game tape and they stopped that. They still didn't do enough, boys. And CMC, when he ran in there untouched, that just took their soul away. And that was on the back of that drive where Kittle had caught the ball and it re-energized us. So, and you look around our offense, everybody stood up. Everybody had a moment, which we'll get onto the wide receivers in a minute, because I know we'll talk about the run game, but just a thing of beauty watching him run in there. So you could argue we had a quiet game, but I tell you what, if he does that next week and we win the game, I'll take it all day long.
Yeah, I think both the backs did really well. Obviously, we've said it time and time again now, they went up against a good defense and they did what they needed to do. It was a little bit concerning to see McCaffrey having his calf taped up during the game and trying to work on it. But from all accounts, it's fine. He'll be good to go. They don't expect him to be limited too much in practice. So yeah, onwards to the Eagles with two backs who we know can destroy teams, and going up against a 24th ranked Russian defense. I think obviously, and it's a little bit early to be talking about this. This should be Thursday, but that's where we're going to attack them on the ground.
Yeah,
What about?
I probably agree with that. I haven't given it next week that much thought yet, Lee. I've been savouring the victory Monday just before I look ahead a little bit.
Got to shout out Boy George a bit more love. 47.7% of our 199 passing yards, 5 receptions on 5 targets for 95 yards, and he was the only receiver to finish with more than 50 passing yards. And some people, Lee, knock Kittle for just being a blocker. So those Kansas City Chiefs fans who come at me on Twitter about Travis Kelce, yes, George didn't score a touchdown, but boy, oh boy, did he step up. And on the live show tomorrow, I'll be rocking my Club 85 T-shirt in honour of our boy George.
Yeah, it all comes down to the way how he's being used in the game. And obviously, he's now getting to be able to catch the ball because we've got a quarterback who can actually throw the ball to. No, not Jimmy Garoppolo, Neil.
I think Shanahan seems to have got better at picking the Kittle plays because Kittle's not getting, I'm not going to call them garbage yards, but, he's not picking up sort of 5 or 7 here and there. He seems to be making those chunk plays. It's that 20, 25 yarder that really opens the game up, that sort of thing. He seems to be getting a lot of effectiveness out of Kittle's targets, rather than him just being perhaps the dump off. Maybe that's where McCaffrey is picking up all those extra yards, because he's that go-to guy when you've got nothing else to go to. Pass game, you wanted to talk about it, Paul? I think, as you said, Kittle stood out, but Ayuk, Jennings made a couple of important catches.
Yeah, I mean, Lee said it earlier when we started running on Dallas in the second half. And then he mixed in that throw to Kittle, and then it led to the touchdown. And when you go back and watch, and you think, that Debo, Ayuk, Jennings, they combined for just 8 receptions on 13 targets, and it was only 97 yards in the night. But when I say it like that, Gareth, whilst none of them scored, all 3 of them had a crucial third down conversion. And when you watch the game, that was critical. And we've talked on this show about them not having the ego, and Debo celebrating after the game on social media, and Micah Parsons was like, "Oh, you did nothing, you didn't score." He didn't need to. Brandon Ayuk didn't need to score. Jennings didn't need to score. And what Brock's got that confidence in, he can go to any one of them. And normally he's go to CMC. CMC seemed to struggle. So I just thought it was a team performance for me. It was a team win. And I just wanted to acknowledge some of those names. But yeah, I definitely wanted to show George some love. But
yeah, I'm glad you said that about it being a team game, because I think that shows the difference between the mentality of the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers. The 49ers aren't, the individual players aren't bothered about the stats. It's getting the win, whereas the Dallas Cowboys are all about the stats. A little bit like Aaron Rodgers.
Speaking of teams, that moves us seamlessly into something we don't often talk about, but special teams. Robbie Gould, Mr. Dependable, and tackling Turpin on that kickoff return as well. Using tackling as in its broadest possible sense. But another big game from Gould.
Well, good as gold. I mean, it's exactly what you expect. I educated my wife on how good Robbie Gould was in the postseason, when she turned around and she said, "Do you think he's going to get this?" Of course he's going to get that. He's never ever missed one in the postseason. It's not going to happen tonight. Yeah, you're right. Completely dependable. Again, it's another thing that sets out the two teams. We've got a kicker who we can rely on. They don't.
I think it was important on the night because obviously there was a lot of fuss about the Dallas kicker and obviously the performance he had last week. Nadgy alluded to the wind in the performance. That tackle, Gareth, is exactly the kind of tackle that I would do if I was playing contact and not flag, because there's no way I'd be trying to tackle. And again, no, he doesn't do that. I think that's to the house. We could be sat here with a different game. And you're right, Lee, it was ever reliable. And I'm glad we talked. I was smirking because I thought we better get special teams in, because I think Robbie got a lot of love, and rightly so, on social media, not just for being Mr. Reliable, with his 4 for 4 on Sunday. I think he had a long range of 50 on his lone pat attempt, but he was responsible for 13 of our team's 19 points. And the last field goal just capped off that drive you talked about before, where we took a lot of time off the clock, the 13 play, and it was a game-sealing drive. And I know some people might have thought, Carl should have gone for it. We've won the game. We all said in the preview show, we don't care how we win. You just need to beat the Cowboys. But yeah, that tackle, I thought if Nadgy was on tonight, I would have got his breakdown, because I think Robbie's form was wrong. I don't think he was set right, but he just did what we all did. He turned round, the lad ran into him. Not pretty, but it's effective.
I think effective is the word. 13 points for Robbie, and Dallas got 12 between them. So, McCaffrey's touchdown was just the icing. The Ray McLeod fumbled and then followed it immediately up with a big return. I thought he was gone then. I thought, but there we are.
Yeah,
considering you called me out, Lee, for predicting the kickoff return.
Yeah, you know exactly what I thought about that. So you jinxed him. Yeah, when it happened, the first thing I thought of was bloody Gareth. No, I mean it's is it the first time he's done it this season? I think it is the first time he's done it this season. But he got over it really quickly. And like I said, the next catch, he had a decent run there. So he's moved on straight away. Again, another strength. We get over our mistakes really, really quickly. And it'll bode well.
Yeah, hopefully he's got the fumble out of his system now.
No, I agree.
Also, special teams, a blocked point after as well. That's worth a mention, since we don't block a lot of kicks, do we? So
no. So who was that got his hand to? Was that Armstead? Eberkamp,
right.
I
think. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, it was missing anyway.
It was.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's psychological, isn't it? The fact that he's struggling and he's blocking it.
You're right. But I'd have been cruel. I'd have rather seen him miss another kick.
Well, I think the block saved him, because you can kind of say, "Oh, it's blocked." That's not his job, is it? But I think you're right.
Did you see the interview with Jerry Jones after the game?
No.
So Jerry Jones was saying that they were vindicated in the decision to keep the kicker because he made a field goal. And I thought the guy was going to start crying. Yeah, 2 field goals.
To be fair, though, when he scored that, they were within 4 points with 11 minutes left on the clock. And that's where we gave Carl the credit earlier, where we put together that 4th quarter drive where, keep them off the pitch, 13 play, 65-yard drive. But yeah, I did see that, Lee. I thought Jerry Jones was quite diplomatic for Jerry Jones, given the answer. But I was wondering if I was going to switch Twitter on today and see that the Dallas Cowboys were looking for a new kicker. Instead, I saw a glorious meme of a crater on a football pitch, and it just said Zeke Elliott's last known, and it's just a hole in the field. So I did share that one on Twitter. I'm not going to lie. But the Dallas Cowboys UK account, Gareth, did send a message of congratulations. So I did think that was quite a nice touch from them this morning. Yeah. So that was fair play. Not sure I'd have done one so quickly. I would have done one, but not as quickly as them. So it was nice to mention it.
It was probably done quickly because they just cut and pasted the one from last year. There was a couple of strange things in the game. I think we mentioned it right at the beginning, the last play of the game. I think Nadgy mentioned it was all set up by Mitchell failing to run out of bounds. I
Yeah.
must admit, I had a slightly sickening feeling at that, and I thought, it's that little thing that can come back and get you. But I think maybe he wanted to set it up so that Dallas could finish the game with the ball in hand. I think, which is very gracious of him. I learnt something on that last possession as well. When Dallas were trying to move the ball forward, they had the receiver catch the ball and get shoved out of bounds, and it didn't stop the clock. Must admit that wasn't something I'd ever actually picked up on in terms of stopping the clock. So I learned something anyway.
Yeah, it was about his forward motion when it got stopped.
It's because he was going backwards.
We talk about mistakes. Look at the tight end. Schultz thought he had an easy take in. Didn't drag his toe.
Yeah.
And like you said, Gareth, from playoff football, it's fine margins. But to be honest, yeah, Mitchell, he just wanted to score, didn't he? And hopefully that comes with experience. You know, you see it sometimes, don't you? I think there's been some examples where teams shouldn't score a touchdown. They score a touchdown, then the other team gets the ball back. But let's face it, Mitchell just wanted to set that finish up. He knew what he was doing, Gareth, and we all enjoyed it immensely for the second year in a row, like you said.
I'm sure Cowboys fans will be saying a couple of sloppy penalties probably cost them. I think they certainly did in the lead up to the McCaffrey touchdown. But I didn't think they had, because last year they had an absolute, I can't even think of the word to use for the game they had. Didn't they have something like 12 penalties or 13 penalties or something last year?
Yeah,
So
13 penalties last year. Yeah. I mean, the Cowboys could have had an argument. A couple of penalties, sloppy flags cost them, but it wasn't just that. It was also giving the ball away. I mean, Dak threw 2 interceptions. The first one that Diomedor Lenoir got, it was a fantastic catch by Lenoir, but that ball should never have been thrown in the first place. So it's stuff like that kills the team. So I don't think it's just a couple of flags that cost them. I think overall there was too many mistakes, as opposed to the 49ers who only made the one mistake with the fumble.
Nothing to add, Paul.
No, Lee has covered it perfectly.
No. Fantastic. So I think that was overall a good workout, though. Before we face perhaps maybe on paper something a bit similar in the Eagles. Don't want to go into too much of it now because we've got a show later in the week to go into that. But I think overall it was a good workout before that game.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you can worry about how Purdy will react in Lincoln Financial Field, but he's obviously been up to Seattle and won in Seattle, and that atmosphere up there is a lot more intimidating than Philadelphia. So I think he'll be fine in that, and I'm looking forward to it. And the good old saying, iron sharpens iron. So I think this week will have done us the world of good leading up to next week's game. Whereas obviously, I don't know if you watched the game on Saturday night, the Eagles-Giants. That was just a washout. The Giants just didn't turn up.
I was up in Glasgow for Flag in the New Year, and our safety's a Giants fan, and he was trying to work out how much sleep he could have. So when we woke up the next morning, he'd stayed up to watch the game. I saw the score, and I thought, I'm not even going to bother to watch that back.
Yeah.
And when we got down for breakfast, he just looked at me and he was like, he said, I should have turned it off when we went for that stupid 4th and 18. He said we were terrible. So to be fair, I quite like Gareth that we're going into this game as the underdog. I think the mentality that our defense has got, and I think you'll have seen Shanahan has been given the defense a bit of gentle stick where he can. He's been lighting that fire under Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. So I think he's going to be using that, as you know, with the underdogs. They're the best team in the NFC. They've got, the all-conquering offense. And I like that we're going in. And like you said, Lee, it's not as if Brock Purdy hasn't gone into Seattle or he hasn't faced any kind of scrutiny. So unfamiliar, because I think the last time we were the underdogs was against the Chiefs. And like you said, we'll cover that later in the week. But for now, you just have to enjoy Victory Monday, NFC Championship game.
Definitely.
And is there something going on this weekend, Lee, that we may want to keep an eye out
so
for?
obviously, I promised on the show last week, on the preview show, that I'd break some news if we won the game. Obviously, we did win the game, and I think I managed to post that within 5 seconds of the clock running out. So the 49ers are coming back to the UK for an official watch party. It's going to be in Leeds. It's going to be at Elland Road. And it's going to be there for the NFC Championship game. The likely start time is anywhere between 6:30 and 7:30, 1 to 2 hours before the actual game starts. So yeah, that's exciting news. I don't know the full details of it, but I'm going to assume there's giveaways like there was in the last one, mainly because when we were organising it, they already knew that there was a few other things planned that we'd planned ourselves. And they said, right, well, we don't want you to go without, so we'll send you the same giveaways. So there's going to be something there. Just don't know what.
Sounds exciting. Where can people find out more? There's something, a Facebook event, I think, to be created.
Yeah, so at the moment, there's a Facebook event in the group. So you can see it in there, but within the next, actually, it might even be on now. Let me check. Within the next 24 hours, I would expect there to be an official San Francisco 49ers event created that actually details everything that's going to go on within the event. They're just finalizing. Yeah, they're just finalizing the details at the moment. So there's nothing on there yet. But yeah, I would expect something on there by close of play tomorrow. At the very latest, I would say early Wednesday morning. And it'll be the same thing as the watch party in Leeds before. You just go on, you register your interest in that you're going to turn up to the event.
So,
and obviously it'll have all the details.
For one of our regular listeners, David Bettridge, he did tweet out this morning, Lee, that he was gutted because he's not in the Facebook group. So we will share details on the Twitter account. If in doubt, hit any of us guys up in our DMs.
Yeah.
We'll always get the information. And just a reminder, like last time, this is the 49ers hosting this event. It's unique. It's one of a kind. We are working with them. It's not me, Lee, or Gareth. We know as much as you do at the moment. But I did see when Lee turned that out after about 5 seconds of the final whistle. I was like, it was true. It was word, everybody. So trust this man. Once he knows, you will know, and it's going to be awesome. And I hope to see as many of you at Elland Road in red and gold or red and white. Just make sure you're rocking those Niners, and we'll show Nick Clark how we can put a party on like we did last time.
Mm.
And we're going to be all
feeling
pretty damn good. There you go. I got it in. It's well documented now, Lee. We have to get that saying in.
Yeah, well done, Paul.
And Faithful UK Live, doing that this week again, Paul. We're recording Monday, so we hope it'll be out for people on Tuesday, which I think is the evening on Tuesdays.
Yeah, so we're trying to stick to 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Obviously, the way the schedules are going at the moment, that seems to be a good time. So yes, me and Nick will be back tomorrow. So we'd love as many of the 49er Faithful UK to join in. The band, Gathering of Strangers, have been blown away by the love that we've shown their song Red and Gold, which has been awesome to see. We want to work closely with the band. As being a UK band, I'm hoping they may appear Lee at Elland Road. That would be pretty epic. I don't know if you know any more than me at this point.
No.
I did see they got a box of swag from the 49ers and he unveiled that last night. So they've been blown away, Gareth. They sent us a message saying thank you for the support. They've shown us the love. And if you haven't gone and listened to the song, it's awesome. It really is just, it gets you going. And to know that it's being played at Levi's. So yeah, 8 o'clock UK time tomorrow. Please jump on, join me and Nick. I've got my sound sorted, so I'm hoping it's okay. And I'm looking forward to rocking my Club 85. Without giving too much away, we will be sharing the love for our boy George tomorrow.
I think that catch deserves quite a lot of love.
Yeah,
anything before we wrap it up, lads? Go on, Lee.
No, I think that's it. I mean, we've got the public service announcement out of the way. Actually, yes. So there's going to be another announcement in the group. It's how can I put this? I'm just going to leave it like that. There's going to be another announcement in the group. It'll also be on Twitter. It'll also be on Instagram. We'll put across all the social media channels. I hope to have that out sometime this week. I've just been waiting for a graphic to turn up in my inbox, which it has tonight. So now I can get on to Photoshop and get something mocked up there before I make the announcement.
You're just full of mystery, aren't you, Lee?
I am. I
Mm.
mean, I was going to turn around and say I haven't heard anything about the Gathering of Strangers being at Elland Road. However, it would not surprise me if they are there. Just a good feeling.
I would hope
Good
so.
feeling.
I don't know if you tuned in last week, Gareth, but Nick did an awesome job as hosting, and he was talking about his experience in the gold mine, Lee, and he referenced it being like a gathering of strangers, and I was like, that was awesome the way he explained that. The band shared Lee's awesome intro video. So on the band's official account, Gareth, there was little old 49 Faithful UK's intro video to thank us for the love. Again, we did forget to mention, Lee, we have got an active competition giveaway going at the moment. So it's for the draft cap. So all you need to do is follow 49 Faithful UK at YouTube, follow the band Gathering of Strangers at YouTube, take a screenshot, send it to me or the 49 Faithful UK account. You've got another week to go, and we'll be hoping to do that draw live on air. So I'd like to see the band showing the love and obviously getting our own subscribers up, because Lee has been putting the pods on. We've had some positive responses, Lee, to the fact that people are now watching us and not just listening to us. And Gareth, it hasn't gone unnoticed, buddy. I can see you've upped your merch game in the background there.
Yeah. Found a couple of clip things so I can put them up. So you've been putting me to shame for too long. Now that people can actually see. Yeah, I'm not sure that's a good thing, but there you go. Takes all sorts, doesn't it? Great stuff, lads. So thanks for joining me, gents. And thanks to everyone
for hosting again.
That's all right. I enjoy it. So, strangely enough. Yeah, even with you two, keeping you on track. So thanks for everyone who listens to the show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share if you're into that sort of thing. We will be back later in the week to preview the NFC Championship game again on the road. I think we're all hoping for something slightly different than last year's ending. And I'm, even at this stage, quietly confident without giving too much away for the preview show. So enjoy your beating the Cowboys out of the playoffs week because, it deserves more than just a victory Monday, doesn't it? Go Niners.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Go Niners.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, D. Clark. Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going 99. Don't get it twisted, one and all with prime time. John Taylor, Jerry Rice down.